my members asked me if I could do something like some Clossoni work using string and UV resin. So I said, do you know what? I don't know. I'll give it a go. So what I've got is, I've got one of my colouring books here that are a digital download that you can get off my website. I'll link them in the description below, and I'm going to do a couple of fish. I've got this fish, which is an angel fish, and I've got this clownfish, which are my two favourite fish. So what I'm going to do is, I've got some acetate, and I'm going to trace onto this acetate using a permanent marker the fish. Now, some of the details I may leave out, and some I may change to allow me a bit more space when filling the fish in. But this will give me the rough idea of what I want. Well, now I've got those drawn out, and as you can see, I have simplified them a little bit because I think that will make it a lot easier for when I'm putting the string around. And the only string I've got is this thin twine. This is going to be ideal for the clownfish because it's red and white, but not necessarily ideal for this. So it would be better if it was gold or something like that, but we can do what we've got with what we've got, and what we've got what we've got. And the reason I've written top on here is because I know that when I turn this over, top is going to be mirrored, and I'm not going to be doing this onto the actual permanent marker, so it's not going to bleed in any way into the resin work that I'm going to do. What I'm doing is decanting out my UV resin into a pot. Ideally, you would want this to be a non-transparent pot, just in case there are any stray UV rays around in your working area. But I've got the curtains closed in my studio, so it should be fine. I'm pushing the string in to ensure that it doesn't get tangled up, because I don't want it to be tangled up. And I actually let the string sit there for about 2 or 3 minutes, soaking in that UV resin, before I then pull it all out like this and pull off all the excess, because I don't want it all over everywhere and being really messy. Now, using these tweezers, I'm actually pushing it down onto the acetate to ensure that when it cures, or when I cure it, it's got a nice seal between the string and the acetate to prevent any leaks really from when I add the final colours. I'm going to be working in small sections and then curing it all up when I've done the full outline, because I don't want to cure it up before in case I knock it and then dislodge that seal, and I don't want to do that. So now I've got this bit cut off, and again I'm just putting it into its final shape using these tweezers, and it does go, as you can see, into the shape really nicely and easily, and it does stay where you want it. And the reason I'm doing it in the small sections is to allow me to get some really clear definition in the extra bits, like the fins and the eyes and around the gill area. I just think it looks nicer and looks more realistic, or as realistic as a fish can look made out of resin. So once I've got all the bits where I want them, and even the smaller bits do stick well, I push my joins together so they're touching the previous bit, and then drop a piece or a daub of UV resin onto that joint, soak all the way down and ensure that it is nicely connected and no resin is going to run out of there. And then again, I just carry on following all the way around using smaller pieces, some longer pieces, and putting them where I want them. So now I've got it fully outlined. What I'm using is my larger headed UV torch, and this has got quite a lot of individual UV lights inside it. And I spent probably 2-3 minutes going over this, ensuring that everywhere was cured. And that way I could make sure that I hadn't got any uncured bits that were going to move or distort out of shape, and everything was nicely stuck down to the acetate. I would like to just say an awesome thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now, and if you'd like to be a member of my channel, then the link for that is in the description below. It is really active, and it's really active in the Facebook group at the moment for members only. It's great. There's so much going on in there and really supportive. So again, continuing to cover this with the UV light to ensure that everywhere is nice and cured. And then once the UV light has done its job, what I will do is put additional bits in, as you can see here. So I've done both of them. I did the angelfish in exactly the same way, and I'm going to be using the J. Diction Quick Cure resin for this, and of course some glitter and some mica powder, because I think those things really give the iridescence that I'm looking for. Now I'm going to be using several tools to fill this up with, because I want to make sure that I don't overflow anywhere into a different section, but also I want to make sure that I get as few clear areas as possible. So using a pipette just to put the little black eyes in, and that does it really nicely, and you can get some good accuracy with these. Again, I will link everything that I've used in the description below. And also, if you weren't aware, I have another channel where I do lots of different arts and crafts on that channel, and it's really starting to grow really well, and there's some great activities on there. So check it out. I'll link that in the description below and in the card above. So now I'm pouring in my black. And I'm not over pouring at this stage, because this is just where I want to make connections to all the edges. And I also want to make sure that I've got all the white bits or clear bits covered that from the UV resin. So just putting enough in to do that, and then going into this with the pipette and moving that right into the corners and ensuring that I've got it all covered. I think that's an important step, because once you add more resin on top of this, it will follow wherever the resin is underneath. So if you've cleared a gap, you've got it right to the edges, then that is where the next lot of resin is. And using a pipette I find is great, because you can keep squeezing out a little bit more as you need it. And the same for the clownfish. Putting a bit in here. Now this is full of glitter. So, as you know, I do like a bit of sparkly glitter. So little Nemo here is going to be nice and sparkly as we go forward. Also, thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. Really was a great month. Here are all your names. Anybody getting me a coffee this month, your names will go on my coffee board. And everything that I get from coffees goes towards buying stuff for the Resin channel and my other channel. So again, using the same method here, but I go in with this one with a blunt nose needle and move that around and get it into all the little areas that it needs to be in. And then once I've done that, I can go in then with the other colours that I have and I want to put in and do it exactly the same. These are all finished now, and all I need to do is pop any surface bubbles. I'm using a lighter rather than a torch. I don't want to melt the acetate, and I also don't want to burn the string in any way, and it's not going to do that using a long neck lighter. Once I've done that, I'll leave them to cure before I set about doming them. These are all cured up now, and what I've done is I've embossed around the edges of the clownfish, but not the angelfish, because I want to see what they look like and what the difference is. I quite like the string look. Now, the angelfish did have a couple of bits of leaking, where the clownfish really didn't. And they come off these backings so easy. You honestly, you just have to, see, I love that sound. You just have to pull them off. Now, there is a little bit of flashing on this one, and that's because we had some leaks. And all I'll do is I'll just go around that with my scissors and tidy that up, because I'm going to dome both of these. Now, when I did the embossing, as you can see, I managed to emboss a little bit onto there, but I'm not too worried about that. I'd love to know in the comments which one you like the best. Do you like this one with the embossing on, or do you like this one with the string showing? I think it would be nice with some black embossing powder, but I don't have any, so... Oh, I'm sorry. Lack of sleep, that is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, dome these up, and then I'll show you them when they're completely finished, and then you can make a decision on which one you think looks the best. Well, these are finished now, and I've domed them up, and I think they've domed up lovely. They domed up really easily. Now, I've got to be honest and make a confession. When I did this one, I forgot to wipe off the powder that I put down for the embossing. It has got a little bit of a duller colour because I didn't take off the powder, but I still think it's come out nicely, and so has the back. I like the back just as much, and I think if you domed that up, you would get a lovely feel from that. And maybe the back is where you can see the string even more prominent, as nice, if not nicer than the front. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you like the back of these? Let me show you the back of this one. Or Do you like the front of them? And what do you think of the technique? It's such an easy technique. And it was really quite good fun as well, and didn't take much time to do. Please boot the like button if you've enjoyed this project. It really does help my videos to get out there, and it demonstrates to me what sort of projects you like as well. The links for everything that I've used today are in the description below. I'm going to probably put a little hole into this somewhere and put some string onto it and having it hanging up somewhere, because I like it that much. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or get hold of anything that I've used in this video today, then the link for everything is in the description below. Take care, enjoy your resin, bye.